I'll show you how to fix your Tommy Bahama chair that ripped with just a couple parts from your hardware store and a couple of items from Amazon. The first thing you're going to want to do is cut off all that ripped fabric from the base so that you can have that a nice clean area for replacing. When you cut across that back bar, make sure you're cutting in front of the bar. You don't want to, of course, cut off the top part of the fabric. That's still good. And then when you're cutting across this front bar, make sure you don't cut your backpack straps. Those are not connected to your material on the bottom. They just pass through it. So with a little bit of care there, you can replace this bottom material without losing the backpack straps. And you can see how to do this here in the video. This was an expensive chair. I thought for it to only last a year. And there's some nice features like the backpack straps and the side pocket and the back pocket. I thought it was worthwhile to try to come up with a way to repair the base of this chair and keep all those nice features still attached to it. So once all that fabric is cut away, you just remove it and then we'll get started on the next step. 4 items you're going to need for parts is an aluminum rod. I did a 3/8" solid aluminum, a couple of caps for the end of that rod, which you'll see how we use, and then just some regular chair webbing kit. I bought the clips and some chair webbing, and maybe you can do a better job matching colors than I did. So I just used a little bit of a tapping tool to mark close to the hinge where I wanted the rod to be able to go through. Make sure you give yourself enough space. I tapped just because this is a round aluminum pole. When you're trying to drill on that, it'll slip all around on you. So it's a hollow aluminum pole. A nice tap gives you a little bit of a starter spot so that the 3/8" drill bit doesn't slip. So make sure your drill bit matches the size of the rod that you bought to slide through. Goes through pretty easy again because it's hollow in most spots. So you just drill on through that. You need this rod so that your webbing can catch it. Because of the way that back panel is, there's no rod for your webbing to catch when you go to do that step. So you just drill through both sides and you push the aluminum rod through. Of course, you're not going to probably be able to find the right length, so you're going to need to cut that edge there with just a little bit left over. So I used a Sawzall just to cut that edge. And then when you're done, you're just going to have a little bit left like that. I'm going to put those caps there on the end and tap them on with a hammer on each side. The next step is going to be to drill holes so that you can attach the webbing to the frame. You're going to work your way down both sides of the frame and the front of the frame on the inner part of the frame, and you'll see what that looks like in a later picture. So just mark the middle part of your webbing. It's going to be dependent on what width webbing you got. So just work your way around, mark your middle part, do your tapping, and then drill the holes. And make sure you use the same size drill bit as whatever tacking pin or aluminum screw you're going to use so that those all line up properly and fit in and are secure. There was a couple of spots on my frame where the aluminum was a little bit thicker and it just took a little bit longer to drill through, but for the most part it went through fine. So just keep working your way around, spacing it out. I got about 4 rows going across my frame and 5 rows going front to back, and you'll see that all at the end. And here's what the inner part of the side looked like for me. And just make sure your pin or whatever screw that you used fits in fine there. Again, I got 4 rows along my sides, and this is the front edge. You can see I got 5 rows that fit there, but it's all going to depend on the width of your webbing, so just make sure you space it out. Next step is to attach the webbing to the frame. You can see how we're using that back rod now that we put in place. You need a way to catch that webbing in the back. The other thing you want to keep in mind as you're doing these straps is that you put your backpack straps in the right spot again. So after you've done 1 or 2, or depending on how wide your straps are, just make sure you put that strap in the right spot. This is what my 5 front to back rows look like when I was done. It's not the greatest match on colors. You can probably do better if you look around online. It's just nice, to keep this perfectly fine frame out of the dump and repair this chair for not too much money. Step is to do the side-to-side rows. You'll do a clip on each end for this one because you don't have a bar to grab. And just make sure that you go over and under, for each time through, and that you alternate on each row. And then when you're all finished, again, maybe you'll do a little bit better on matching colors than I was able to do, but let me know how you liked the video or if you have any questions in the comments.